Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news. The Bahamas braces for Hurricane Matthew and remembering Hurricane Joaquin 1 year later.
Prime Minister Perry Christie says the Baha Mar Resort is moving very quickly towards completion. That story straight ahead.
The Progressive Liberal Party loses the support of a top union leader. That story straight ahead.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina McNeil. Topping news tonight, Bahamians should prepare for the wrath of Hurricane Matthew, which is expected to touch the Bahamas by next week. According to Director of the Department of Meteorology, Trevor Baston, Hurricane Matthew, which upgraded to a Category 4 storm this afternoon, is expected to move into the Bahamas by Wednesday morning. Simone Davis has more in this report.
Hurricane Matthew poses a major threat to Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas over the next few days. However, Director of the Met Department Trevor Baston says he expects the storm to weaken to a Category 2 by the time it makes its way to the Bahamas.
On its present trajectory, Matthew is expected to move off the coast of Cuba, the eastern side of Cuba, at about 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning, putting it just slightly in Bahamian waters. And it is to have quite a bit of acceleration to be just around Eleuthera at 8 a.m. Wednesday. So that is approximately 20 mile per hour speed, which is good.
Baston warned residents of Long Island, Inagua, Cat Island, and Eleuthera to expect stronger winds, adding meteorologists expect the storm to pass over the Bahamas in a 36-hour period.
Usually these systems pass through the Bahamas. It takes 4 to 5 days to pass through, so this one just a day and a half, and we should be clear. So that's the present trajectory and forecast. Now we will continue to monitor because these systems, again, the forecast models could be in error, but all of them seem to be holding the same opinion and position in terms of both intensity, speed, and track forecasts.
Officials from the Social Services Department said there are 22 hurricane shelters on New Providence and 108 shelters on the Family Islands. Director of the National Emergency Management Agency, Captain Stephen Russell, says he is pleased with the state of readiness at this time. He also urged Bahamians to closely monitor Hurricane Matthew's movements and listen out for alerts.
Over the past 2 or 3 days, we have been making contact with all of our island administrators, making contact with the local disaster council committees in all of our islands to ensure that they are convening the meetings. And I'm pleased to inform you that they have been meeting during the course of the day. And early into Monday, the latter group will meet on Monday to meet and to finalize their plan of actions for the approaching storms. That is those islands in the northern and more in the northern Bahamas who will probably meet on Monday.
In the meantime, residents should expect heavy winds, significant rainfall, and possible flooding. Reporting for our news, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, October 2nd would officially mark 1 year since the powerful Category 4 Hurricane Joaquin ripped through the islands of the Bahamas, leaving a path of destruction. Long Island, San Salvador, Samana Key, Crooked Island, Acklins, Great Exuma, and Rum Key experienced the worst of the storm as homes and businesses and schools were hit hard. 1 year later, some residents on those islands continue to rebuild. Head of the National Recovery and Reconstruction Unit, Melanie Roach, gave an update on residential repairs on those family islands.
With regards to the new homes, there are 24 homes under construction. There are 3 in Acklins, 5 in Crooked Island, 12 in Long Island, and 4 in San Salvador. 2 of the 3 homes in Acklins are nearing completion. 1 is much delayed. In Crooked Island, 3 of the 5 are nearing completion, and 2 are delayed. In Long Island, the majority of them are about 60% completed. They are awaiting the shipment of some additional materials that are required for completion, and the Ministry of Housing is working with the Ministry of Finance to try and get those materials there as early as next week.
Ministry of Works Civil Engineering Chief Leighton Rahman explains the progress of infrastructure on the islands.
We have commenced the repair of about 30 miles of road in Acklins, 15 of which has already now been prepared ready for asphalt. The difficulty we faced was getting the material there and the asphalt plant. These are very big equipment, and the existing port dock facilities were not suitable to bring such heavy gear. So the contractor, Bill Simmons Construction, identified a channel, a deep water channel near Selena Point. So we are creating a new dock facility at Selena Point, which will be used to bring in the materials and mainly the equipment.
A little later, we'll tell you how some of Hurricane Joaquin's youngest victims are commemorating the one-year anniversary of that hurricane. In other news, in the wake of the official opposition calling for clearer details on Prime Minister Perry Christie's recent pronouncements about Baha Mar, Christie today suggested details are coming shortly and once more said the resort is moving quickly toward completion. Dana Smith reports.
The Prime Minister once again expressing optimism about the eventual completion and opening of Baha Mar. Although he did not provide specifics, he said the project is moving fast and furious and said that very shortly he'll present to the public further details which affirm his confidence.
But it is for me to say that Baha Mar will be moving fast and furious towards full development, and thousands of persons to be employed in that development.
Christie has been heavily criticized in recent days for a lack of specifics surrounding his Baha Mar announcements. Earlier this week, Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner called on Christie to come with tangible answers to prove he's not just talking off the top of his head. Well, Christie said in a short period of time, he'll be able to show why he's so confident in Baha Mar's future.
In the coming short period of time, that through public presentations and utterances, we will provide full affirmation and confirmation of my expressions of confidence this morning with respect to Baha Mar.
But again, Christie did not provide any clear details on the matter. He was addressing attendees at a groundbreaking ceremony for a housing development located in a gated community in southern New Providence. He told developers the economy will soon see a turnaround, naming Baha Mar as an avenue for a boost in employment.
I believe that you're going to present a wonderful set of accommodations here. And I believe that the economy will enable you to have persons qualified to purchase them.
Reporting for our news, I'm Dana Smith.
Well, Stellar Waste to Energy CEO Fabrizio Zanaboni has made the decision not to appear before the Committee on Privilege, which is scheduled to hold public hearings on claims he made last year. The hearings were set to begin yesterday at the British Colonial Hilton, but were postponed after the committee said it could not locate Zanaboni. Committee members want to question the Stellar Waste CEO, who last year claimed he provided small donations to members of Parliament for constituency events like basketball tournaments. Central Grand Bahama MP Nico Grant, who is a member of the committee, first brought the matter to Parliament's attention when he called for the police to investigate whether Zanaboni bribed public officials. However, Stellar Waste said in a statement issued today that Zanaboni is out of the country and has been for some time. The company says through his attorneys, Zanaboni has made the decision not to appear before the committee, as is his right, adding this was communicated to the relevant authorities some time ago. Zanaboni maintains that his comments in regard to small donations were taken out of context, and he apologized. Well, a veteran trade unionist who once actively campaigned for the Progressive Liberal Party in 2012 says he now regrets the move 4 years after the PLP won the last general election. Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson says the PLP's callous disregard for workers has left him ashamed to say he once supported the PLP. Our Jasmine Brown has his candid comments in this report.
Ferguson, who once urged voters to support the PLP, now says his position has changed drastically.
If you ain't for me, I ain't for you. Amen. I'm not going to support you to destroy me now. I ain't doing that.
The TUC president says the only reason he urged voters to support the PLP is because they campaigned on a promise to protect workers and unions. He says at the time he believed in the party's constitution.
This is what I operated under. But you see where I am today.
The union leader's outrage was triggered by the recent revelation in the Sandals matter. The AG stopped a private prosecution against Sandals general manager Gary Williams and financial controller Ronnie Mirza. The document was dated August 15th, the same day Sandals made 600 workers redundant. Ferguson says the move was the final straw, and for that reason he can no longer support the Christie administration.
I vote in my interest. That's where I'm voting. I don't vote because I feel mad at you. I look at what the organization, what the workers can benefit from the process. That's where we are.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Still to come on our news, police need your help in solving a deadly late-night shooting, marking 1 year after Hurricane Joaquin, and day 2 of the Democratic National Alliance's National Convention wraps up. Coming up when our news returns.